immediate medical care at an ER. It requires IV fluids, an ambulance. It is an all hands on deck situation, and this is how you tell the third degree burn. The causes of this specific wound are going to be from fire contact, electrical burns, scalding, or chemical burns. So, and there's the imagery of how to tell the difference. At top, there's no blisters, middle is blisters, and third is the worst thing. With these, again, you can do all you can to mitigate, all you can to stop all of the pain and the current, cease it immediately. But that third degree burn, that one's gonna possibly have secondary bacterial infection. And that's the one that can lead to more complications and a longer ER visit, skin grafts, that kind of thing. That's a bad situation.
Should you put cool water on a third degree burn?
Honestly, everything that I've read is just get them to the ER.
Well,
just
keep
get 'em to the ER.
light dressing that's dry dressing.
Yeah. The concern, though, is you don't want anything. Most people have regular gauze, and the problem with regular gauze is that it's woven, and as wounds heal, it can grow into, and that's gross, but it can grow into the gauze. And you go to take the gauze off, and you just ripped it back open. So there is something called a non-stick pad. So if you have the OTC fire cream, might as well. I mean, it's a third degree burn. It's like a gunshot wound. You just trying to get a patient to the ER. And then, so we'll move on to asthma attack. Most people who have asthma already have parents who are trained in this. But if you see someone who has an asthma attack, it's going to, present itself as shortness of breath, wheezing, persistent coughing, chest pain, difficulty speaking. And what it is it's an attack going on due to irritation and swollen airways. And so the lining will go into, like I said, mucus. The lining goes into overdrive to produce a very thick mucus. And so your body it can't clear it enough. If a patient is on the ground, this is important. If a patient is on the ground, sit them upright to help them breathe better. Use a rescue inhaler if it is available. If you have asthma, don't ever use your medicine for somebody else, because you don't know if they have other medications they're taking. So if they do not have a rescue inhaler, just encourage them, breathe in through the nostrils, and it's important to have them breathe through the nostrils and exhale through the mouth, because that brings the heart rate down, it calms them down, and it just drops everything to a calm or peaceful environment for them. Stroke. So when you're concerned about stroke, you're looking for the FAST system to take place here. So is their face drooping? Is one half side of their face off kilter? Have them smile. You just say to them, "Hey, mom, can you smile?" And then if it's cattywampus, then that is a concerning thing. Arms. When you have them raise their arms up, if one is, again, shorter than the other. Speech. Does the person have slurred speech and they are unable to communicate? Time. You have to call 911 to get an ambulance on the way, since every minute counts with stroke. If the first three are absolutely, red, and yes, there are all these symptoms, you absolutely should not wait. You should call, because it's better for you to call and be a panic and Nancy than them to, be like, it's no big deal, it's alright, it's not a big deal. And with stroke, honestly, it really is an EMT thing. I've not had any training yet where Jason has come in and said, "Oh, you can stop a stroke." No. We've not had any training where he said there's any way to stop it. Just, again, like with the burn, get them to the ER. Sprain, it's an at-home mom thing. It's a maybe crucial care, but if the patient is able to move the limb that you suspect has a sprain, they need to apply ice to the injured area as soon as possible. This will reduce swelling and any further damage. Do not apply the ice directly to the skin. Wrap bags of ice or peas in a kitchen towel first. You can actually kill skin cells if it's directly on your skin and you leave it on there for a long time. Ice should be applied, like I said, for 15-20 minutes. Every hour is needed for the first 48 hours, and those numbers are very important. Use an elastic bandage or wrap to compress the area. Wrap starting at the end farthest away from the heart. Loosen wrap if pain increases or the area becomes numb. Avoid any activities that can further cause further damage or discomfort, but don't completely avoid physical activity. That is a new thing. We used to be told, immobilize them, don't let them up, don't let them walk, they're gonna do more damage. Now it's kind of like, let's see how much pressure, because that then allows you to go, is this a sprain or is this worse? If they can't put any pressure and they absolutely, because my mom ended up, unfortunately, tripping over a water hose, and she went to go to get up, and we're just kind of like, okay, it's probably a sprain. No, she had a broken ankle and had to go to the emergency room. And so it's important to know which is it are we dealing with. Elevate the injured area above the level of the heart, especially at night, which allows gravity to work. Call your physician to keep them informed. Treat with OTC painkillers. I know that there is a big deal with painkillers and Tylenol right now, but the reality
It has its place. Tylenol
has its place. It has its purpose. I have 3 kids. I know all about the autism Tylenol thing going on now. I still would tell you, Excedrin, Tylenol, keep it in your bag. You never know. Yeah, I know. And there are alternatives. One of my favorite stores, they don't have them down here because we're in a rural area. But there is a place in Jack's Beach called Native Sun. And maybe there are other places where you can find natural, I think they call it natural Tylenol. And it's made from, I want to say birch or something like that. So there are alternatives. You just got to find the place to get them at. The rural boony towns do not have herbal shops, and you know, we live in Jacksonville, and so I had access to everything I could need. And now we've moved, and it's just kind of like, where's your Whole Foods? We don't have one. We don't have one.
Ginger tea can help.
It's
Fresh ginger tea.
Yeah. So recovery can take a couple of days to months, depending on what you did to yourself or the kid did to themselves. And PT has to be needed. When it comes to PT, that is something only a doctor can prescribe you, and they should be called if after a couple of days the swelling doesn't go down, you see, you know, anything that indicates to you that it is not getting better. A doctor needs to be involved. Again, with dealing in the same kind of genre, if you have a broken bone, you suspect there's a broken bone, you want to immobilize the area, there are devices you can buy. I mean, you can get a stick. There's a baseball bat. You can work with what you got. But you want to immobilize the area, apply ice, and seek out crucial care at a local facility. This is one of the things that you absolutely, even if the grid goes down, a broken bone needs to be reset in such a way that especially with children, that it grows properly. There are some people who didn't even know they had a break, and their bone grew the wrong way, and it caused walking problems later. So it's a good thing they're looking at taking care of. If there's any bleeding associated, the bleeding has to be taken care of first, then you deal with the broken bone. So you go right into first aid with stopping the bleeding, then you go into the broken bone taking care of. You always want to stop that bleeding. And if those two things, if you have bleeding with the broken bone, that is an ER visit. Absolutely. That's something they need to take care of. Excuse me. If a patient that you are working on shows signs of shock, which is pale skin, rapid breathing, faintness, you're going to lay them down with their heads slightly lower than trunk, raise legs if possible, apply a blanket, and transport them immediately to the ER. These are kind of common ones, but I want to put them in. Most people who have allergies know how to handle them. There is a wonderful product called Xlear that has been tested against corona. I think they're called corona viruses, and Xlear actually tested quite well. It not only shortens the duration of the coronavirus, but it will actually prevent it. It's Xlear. There's a store brand that you can get as well, and it runs, depending on what brand you get, $10 to $17.99 ish for the Xlear, and it's not bad at all. I have 6 boxes at home ready to go for winter already.
Yeah, because normally whenever you catch a viral infection, the doctor is just like, all you can do is wait. Only thing that helps is time and treat the symptoms.
Yeah, no. You can do, antihistamines and decongestants, you can throw at it, but you could OD so easily over those things as well. You can put yourself in danger. They have side effects, and God forbid you give your kid too much antihistamine. I recently learned that some parents like to give their kids Benadryl to help them sleep during road trips, and
Benadryl is insane. It knocks me out as a full adult. Like the smallest dosage. And I have heard of people doing that same thing. Or cough medicine. If it's not Benadryl, it's cough medicine. And at night to help them sleep.
It's very dangerous.
Why don't you just play with your kids and wear them out so then they just won't sleep because they're tired?
Right. And that is a concern. Again, we want to have OTC stuff, but if you don't use it the right way, then it becomes a danger. The Xlear is really good. You can actually go to their website, and if you are a nerd and you like reading, kind of like I'm a nerd when it comes to medical information. You can actually find all of these different printouts you can print up, where they have put Xlear and similar products against other treatments, if you want to call them that. And Xlear is awesome. In fact, I was listening to a Japanese medical doctor, and he said during winter, if you will spray 2 drops, shots up each nostril, and then carry you a little bottle of Scope or Listerine, before you go out, 2 shots in each nostril, gargle. Do your stuff, come home, 2 shots, gargle. He said that will reduce the majority of your sicknesses and allergies if you just do it.
Because sickness and viruses often hang around the sinuses and throat area before they make you sick.
That's how they enter you. You either breathe them in or
ingest
someone coughs
them
in your face.
Yeah.
Or you just
And that Xlear,
touching something and then like
and the Xlear, they did studies on it, and it keeps it from sticking to the inside of your nostrils, so it flushes it out.
that's
So
awesome.
I love this stuff.
And it's sweet. It's like a derivative of
it's made
sugar.
out of sugar. Xylitol.
It's a derivative of sugar. Yeah.
sucks to use though.
All right.
It's a sugar-based nasal spray.
Yeah.
Okay.
It works.
Okay.
So minor skin allergy stuff is hydrocortisone cream, calamine lotion, or again Benadryl. They recommend do not combine the Benadryl topical with the Benadryl internal. It's just too much exposure, and there are people who do it, and that's why I have to say that. And a cold compress. If your skin reaction though is caused from poison ivy, there is an herbal salve that you can get online, and you literally can just Google herbal poison ivy salve, and I think it's by a company called Green Goo, and it's made out of a
What a
plant
name.
that literally grows.
It's not wrong.
Like, you will have a poison ivy plant here, and then the solution right here, jewelweed. That's what
Yep,
it is.
yep,
That's
that
jewelweed.
happens.
So there are products out there for that. If you have a major respiratory allergic reaction, also known as anaphylactic seizure, you need an epinephrine auto injector. Again, they run $500. I know because I have one. That is something that you look for: itching, hives, sneezing, nasal congestion, all of the symptoms with children. One thing parents often miss is they're like, "Mommy, I'm tired." Sometimes anaphylaxis will manifest in a child as, "Mommy, I'm tired, Daddy, I'm tired." And they won't notice the hives, because they're covered up, they're going to bed, and it's a situation where you never really want to send your kid to bed right after they eat, especially if they tried something new, peanuts, whatever. You want to be able to keep your eye on them. So call emergency services while having the patient sit down and remain calm. You want to assist them if they already have an EpiPen. You just have to actually assist them. If the patient is wearing shorts, there should be no issue with the injector. But if a patient is wearing jeans or thick pants, you need to use medical shears and cut away a little bit of fabric, expose the skin to where you're going to inject. The reason for this is it is a thick needle, but if you are wearing jeans and you go to stab it into the thigh, which is where I had to inject mine, if you tip that needle even slightly because it can't go through your jeans, you now lost every bit of the medication, and there's nothing you can do unless you have another one. So make a hole, stab them in their thigh.
I'd say just in general, just even with shorts, just try and go for bare skin if possible.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You have to keep an eye on the patient if this ever happens to you, because another reaction can come right behind. This is what I was warned of. That let's say you don't ever touch peanuts ever again. Within 24 to 48 hours after the initial reaction, you're going to have another anaphylaxis. And it can come on and you won't even know why. Your body does it. We're wonky. Humans are weird. But the goal is when it is a major respiratory allergic reaction, get them to the ER. You do want to call the ambulance, because if you do not have an EpiPen, then they keep them on stock. And I inquired, there's no service for you to get like a test one for you to keep in your first aid kit. It is a highly expensive medication.
They could sell it for cheaper, but they don't want to.
No,
Anyway.
and Jason's done, so we're finished. So we do a lot of different classes. We do, like I said, we do a first aid, AED, CPR, which is very hands-on. You physically come in and you are pushing on the dummy. He tells you exactly how to do that. We hold those kind of classes. We do communications classes. How do you talk to your neighbors down the road if the phones go out? If the grid goes down, how are you going to get talking to your husband? How are you going to talk to your parents down the road? We do all kinds of classes through, the Putnam United Prepper group. So, like, we're doing a sharpshooting class in February, hopefully. And I know some women aren't into that, and that's fine, but I'm telling you, just, like, we have a variety of different stuff. I try to find free, what?
You done with the slides? Like put
Yeah. We try to find any free classes that are involving learning how to shoot guns, archery, homesteading, preparedness. One of the most sought after class right now that I just can't find a facility for is a canning class. How to can. If I could find a church that is willing to hold it, I will even donate the canning jars. I have cases of them, but I don't have the facility because we cannot have food in here. We cannot. We can't bring propane, obviously, and here.
Have you checked with like the VFW buildings or the like? I think we only have a VFW building, and not like a Moose Lodge or an American Legion or anything like that, but like those type of facilities, or like if the community center has a kitchen. I don't know.
The community center. That was our first assumption, was that we could go to the community center. It has no stovetop or something like that. Like it's missing something that we needed, and we're like, there's no stove up in this thing.
You talk to any Mormon churches? That's a big thing with them.
Some churches, though.
No, I know you don't. Mormon, a Mormon. But have you talked to them, because they are big into preparedness?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The previous people who ran this was, I believe.
Yeah, but have you?
Me personally,
Yeah.
no.
That'd be the one
did
you might
talk
try.
I know that Hollister Baptist Church wants to hold a canning class, and they're working on it. So if you know anyone who is game to do a sourdough class, we did a kombucha tasting and gingerbread class like a couple of months back. We do all kinds of stuff to help you internally in any way that we possibly, externally, you know, how to prepare your house for when it comes, you know, when it hits the fan. And Jason wants to do, like you said earlier, a fire prevention class during the holidays. So we do a lot of these things. If there's some connection you have and you know of someone who is willing to host classes or teach, let me know. I had one lady who wanted to hold a hiking class. She's like, you should really do a class. I said, here's the thing. Do you want to teach it though? Because you can volunteer me. I've had people volunteer me to teach something, and I'm like, if I am not interested or trained in this, I shouldn't be teaching it.
Mommy gets to socialize.
Yes, mommy does get to socialize, so she's an introvert. So, but anyway, if you know anyone who is willing to hold classes, whether it's physically or teach them, and it is a life skill that you need for humanity, you know, canning, cooking classes. I even went and contacted bakeries and said, you know, would you please, you know, because they're letting us borrow we'll even give you some money to do a canning class. And I don't know what it is about Putnam County.
Oh, that's it right there.
I just can't get help. And you're gonna shut up. Okay, go ahead. Jump on show where it is. So if you know if you have contacts, like I do not have success with Putnam County. I constantly hear people complain about it, but it's like,
it's very difficult. It's an ingrained good old boy system that